Okay, right now, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about something called path goal theory. And this is one of the most important theories and logical perspectives on how we understand leaders. So let's begin. Firstly, I think, again, we could really understand this from a more common perspective of leadership, something called directive leadership. For example, the behaviors here include telling the followers what they're expected to do, how to do it, when it is to be done, and how their work actually fits in with the work of others. Basically, someone who's very directive could be termed micromanaging in a sense, but also just being very, very specific about following their level of quality, their level of perspective about how things should be done. So these behaviors could also include setting the schedules for the followers, establishing the norms or the behaviors that are regular in a particular group, and as well as providing expectations that followers will adhere to, or rules and regulations or standard operating procedures to actually follow through in order to be compliant to what the leader actually wants. That's an example of directive leadership. Other than that, we can also have something called supportive leadership. Now, this is quite different from directive leadership, whereby the behaviors now include having courteous and friendly interaction, not directive, but actually being friendly with the followers, expressing genuine concern for the followers' well-being as well as their individual needs, and of course, very importantly, remaining open and approachable to followers. Therefore, if you like to think of things like in a hierarchy, directive leadership would have the leader high up high and the followers way down low with a big gap in between. But supportive leadership is much more closer, the gap, whereby the leader would be, yes, still above the followers, but much more, how should I put this, the distance between them would be closer because they are more like, almost like a friend instead. So these behaviors then are also marked by attention to the competing demands of treating followers equally, which is important, but while also recognizing the status or the differentials between the leader and the followers. While the leader needs to or would like to become more like on a friendly status, they still need to be slightly above for the followers in order to guide them and lead them. And so the leader that has to balance, when using supportive leadership, balance the viewpoint as I'm your friend, but I'm also your leader. And therefore you still need to follow me while I also listen to you. And that's a tough balance to follow. We also have the third point, which is participative leadership. This behaviors includes sharing work problems with followers, soliciting their suggestions, concerns, and recommendations, basically we're getting their feedback, and as well as weighing the inputs of followers in the decision-making process. Now, why is this important? For participative leadership, the leaders will actually purposely seek out the perspectives, feedback, ideas, perspectives from the followers because the decision that is made will actually influence and affect all of them. And so, in order to get a buy-in from the followers, the leader may choose a participative leadership approach to actually get the perspective of the followers to give the input. And when the followers actually do that, they feel that they have a say. They feel that they have a say as well as in part of the decision-making process, and therefore they will tend to follow through with whatever has been decided as well. So this is a good perspective in order to get people who may not really see your perspective initially, but when you give them a voice to speak their mind and share their perspectives, they tend to buy in much better then. So that's participative leadership. Lastly, we have achievement-oriented leadership. Now, this is where leaders tend to exhibit the behaviors and which is seen as both a combination, kind of both demanding and supporting, for example, in interactions with followers. In terms of demanding, for example, in the first place, they would set very challenging goals for the group and follower behavior. So if you're capable of working at this level, the leader would actually set, this is the goal, their new KPI, for example. This is what your new standard should be, right? So, and they will, in the process though, they also continually seek for ways to improve performance, and they expect followers to perform at their highest levels continuously. So they kind of push you and push you and push you. However, they don't leave you hanging. They also support your behaviors to achieve by exhibiting, I guess, what you call a high degree of ongoing confidence that subordinates can put forth the necessary effort. So it's not just about words like, I believe you can, for example, but more along the lines of, tell me what it is that you need in order to make this goal happen, right? What kind of resources do you need in order to accomplish the particular project. I will support you, but I will also push you at the same time. So what will happen in the end is that the leader will push the followers for achievement so that the followers will achieve, hopefully, the desired results. And ultimately, once they do that, the leader can actually then set new goals, new standards, and give them even more responsibility. So the leader then kind of acts like a coach to kind of push you, see what you're made of, and once you've achieved a new standard, increase the level even more, to push you even higher, for you to improve even more. So that's achievement-oriented leadership for you.